welcome back to Whispers in the Dark, the place where real-life nightmares, urban legends, and unexplained encounters come alive. Tonight, we journey to a seemingly peaceful suburban overlook in Illinois, a place of quiet contemplation that became the hunting ground for something impossibly pale, impossibly tall, and impossibly patient. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next terrifying tale. There's a particular kind of quiet you find just outside the city. It's not the profound silence of deep wilderness, but a muffled, diluted quiet where the hum of distant traffic is a backdrop to the chirping crickets and rustling leaves. For me, that quiet has always been a refuge. I'm a night owl, and for years, my escape from the noise of city life has been a specific overlook near Silver Lake, just on the edge of the sprawling forest preserves in the southwestern suburbs of Illinois. It was 2 nights ago, just after midnight. Alex, was parked at the overlook, the faint glow of the city a distant haze on the horizon. My car windows were down just enough to let in the cool autumn air, and I was lost in the slow, melancholic notes of a jazz track, just clearing my head. The moon, a sliver of silver, cast long, distorted shadows from the trees that lined the narrow road leading up to the gravel lot. The overlook was usually a peaceful spot. Sometimes other cars would pull up, couples seeking privacy, teenagers looking to kill time, but usually, by this hour, I had it to myself. I remember leaning back in my seat, just breathing in the quiet. Then, I heard it, a soft, almost imperceptible crunch of gravel, like a light vehicle pulling up behind me. My first thought was, oh, company. It was late after all, and I knew what people came to these spots for. A quick glance in my rearview mirror. Nothing. The road behind me was empty, disappearing into the dark tunnel of trees. I dismissed it. Probably just a branch shifting, or my imagination playing tricks. A minute or two later, that inexplicable prickle started. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. It was the feeling, the one you get when you're utterly, undeniably watched. It wasn't the usual, someone's approaching feeling I'd developed from years of being out alone. This was different. This was colder, older. It was the feeling of being prey without having yet seen the predator. My eyes snapped back to the rearview mirror, and that's when I saw it. In the deepest shadows, across the narrow road, where the dense trees began their ascent up a small hill, there was something. It was tall, impossibly tall, a stark, pale column against the darker backdrop of the moonlit trees. It was partially obscured, almost trying to blend, but its sheer height made it visible. My heart began to pound, a frantic drum against my ribs. What was that? My hands instinctively went to adjust the mirror to get a better angle, to rationalize it. A deer, a oddly shaped tree. But before I could even touch the glass, I saw the eyes. They gleamed, not with the frantic, darting reflection of a deer or the predatory glow of a coyote. These eyes were utterly, sickeningly human in their intensity. They were transfixed, focused, intent, like eyes caught in an old photograph, completely unblinking, unmoving, and utterly fixed on me. They weren't just reflective, they seemed to absorb the dim moonlight and send it back with a terrible, icy intelligence. And then, the rest of the image in my rearview mirror clicked into place. The thing was tall, yes, but also impossibly slender, almost skeletal. Its skin was as white as freshly fallen snow, a stark, unsettling contrast to the shadows around it. It was slinked up against the trees, its body contorted in a way that felt wrong, unnatural, like a twisted, pale reflection of humanity, but far, far older and far more sinister. I now imagine it as some kind of devil, a pale demon from the wilderness. My brain finally caught up to my eyes. That feeling of ice pouring down my back became an icy flood. Panic, cold and raw, gripped me. This wasn't an animal. This wasn't a person. This was wrong. It didn't belong. It was invading the space. But it had moved with such stealth, fitting into the dark, that my usual senses, my guards, had completely failed me. The eyes, those fixed, predatory eyes, were still locked on mine in the mirror. I didn't dare turn my head. I didn't dare move anything but my hand. I shoved the gear shifter into drive, the sudden jerk of the car almost making me gasp. I stomped on the accelerator, hooking a hard right, tires spitting gravel. I didn't look back. I sped out of the Overlook lot, flying down the winding road that ran along the hill, out of the preserve. I didn't stop until I hit the main road, where the comforting, if artificial glow of streetlights finally appeared. Even then, I didn't slow down until I was miles away, deep in the brightly lit suburbs. The memory of those eyes, so human yet so utterly devoid of humanity, made me feel physically sick. I had been there, just feet away, for who knows how long, and I hadn't known it had been watching me, silent, patient. I had considered myself a skeptic, an outdoorsman, but that night, my perception of natural and unnatural was shattered. I don't know what it was, but I know one thing. I will never again feel truly safe alone in the quiet. Not when something like that is out there, watching from the shadows. And that's where our chilling encounter at the Overlook comes to a close. A terrifying reminder that the suburbs aren't as safe as we think, and the line between our world and the wilderness is dangerously thin. What do you think was staring back from those trees? A crawler or something else that's learned to hunt just beyond the street lights? Let me know your theories in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story made you want to check your rearview mirror, please show your support by hitting that like button to make sure you never miss another whisper from the dark. Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. And if you know someone who thinks they're safe just outside the city, share this terrifying encounter with them. Until next time. Be careful where you go to clear your head. You never know what's patiently watching from the shadows.